Hello, Petal. How you doing? How's everything going? I have got Dr. Dolittle and I've got Mary Poppins, as we've been chatting about in the community posts, and I'll be recording those for autumn. I'm really looking forward to that because autumn is not too far away and that is my absolute golden time of the year. Well, next to winter and spring. It's just summer I struggle with. But all in all, the best time of the year that I really enjoy is autumn because you can be outside. You got your brolly. If it's raining, you're all wrapped up. You know, you got kind of like your waterproof boots on, or you got your boots on, whatever. It can rain. It can all the leaves are falling off the trees. If it gets a bit of chap to the wind, then you just have that wonderful petrichor that I was talking about before, which is like. It's that beautiful smell which is after rain or early in the morning, especially here. And even if you do get caught out in the bad weather, you can get inside, get changed, get all dried off, have a nice warm snuggy jumper on, nice cup of tea or hot chocolate, coffee, get some bickies, just sit there. You watch the rain out the window, and the one thing, oh my goodness, this is so soothing, I can't even tell you. But when it's absolutely hammer it down outside, to the point where it's dark, and you put the light on indoors in the middle of the day, and it's all luxury, and you kind of, I got the light on in the middle of the day. It's kind of like something you wouldn't normally do. But yeah, and then you just watch that rain. Just, I can't even tell you, that's one of my favourite things. So, what is your favourite weather system or season, and what is your favourite thing to do in that particular time or day, I was pondering on it and I was thinking about how with all these weather systems, not only do I actually enjoy being a part of them, like within them, but also it's kind of like being apart from them and, just watching them from the outside. And that's an analogy if there ever was one. It's a story of my life, I'm telling you. As ever, if you could hit that notifications bell if you haven't already, but I know you all have. I know you will have. I know. Same as the likes and shares and subscribes and all that sort of malarkles. I do appreciate it very, very much. I've never looked for a big audience or anything because I just like our little corner of the internet. It's just so nice. And now that autumn's coming in, hopefully there won't be so many external factors that contravene my capabilities to... Is it contravene? Contravene my capabilities to conduct my recording sessions. I'm still a little bit hoarse, still a bit throaty, but yeah, we'll work with it, see how it goes. It's never easy to do an Aahz voice when you're a bit throaty. Oh my goodness, my lovely beans. We are going to do chapter 13 of Another Fine Myth by the wonderful Mr. Robert of Aspirin. I better stop yapping because these monologues are getting longer and longer each time. The secret to winning the support of large groups of people is positive thinking. Napoleon Bonaparte. I don't think that's true. Not going to lie, I don't think that's true. There's so many things I could say about that right now in his current social climate, but no, it's not positive thinking. It's other things. I'm not going to get into that conversation. And as King Daddy Leo would say, who is an amazing YouTuber, and social media kind of comedian and that sort of thing. But as he would say, no, thank you. No, thank you. Oh my goodness, I had to give him a shout out because lovely couple, absolutely hilarious, and I just like his reactions to things. And we were only talking about it earlier this week as well. It's like that, no thank you, and I'm pretty much saying it to every opportunity right now. We'll try again. I just realised I'm just not doing the monologue, but I'm trying to start the chapter. And what's more, I didn't do any characterisation to the quote. Let's try this again, shall we? Chapter 13. The secret to winning the support of large groups of people is positive thinking. Napoleon Bonaparte. Didn't like him anyway, me. People are staring at us, Aahz. Relax, kid. I said relax, kid. They're supposed to be staring at us. To illustrate his point, he nodded and waved to a knot of glowering locals. They didn't wave back. I don't see why I have to be the girl, I grumbled.
We went through that before, kid. You walk more like a girl than I do.
That's what you and Frumple decided. I don't think I walk like a girl at all.
Well, let's say I walk less like a girl than you do.
It was hard to argue with logic like that, so I changed the subject. Couldn't we at least travel by less populated roads? I asked.
Why?
Countered Aahz. Well, I'm not too wild about having a lot of people see me when I'm masquerading as a girl.
Come on, kid. The whole idea is that no one would recognize you. Besides, you don't know anybody in this town. Why should you care what they think of you?
I just don't like it, that's all, I grumbled.
Not good enough. I said that's not good enough,
Aahz asserted firmly.
Being seen is part of our deal with Fromple. If you had any objections, you should have said so before we closed the negotiations.
I never got a chance, I pointed out. But since the subject's come up, I do have a few questions.
Such as?
Such as, what are we doing?
Weren't you paying attention, kid? We're laying a false trail for...
I know that, I interrupted. What I mean is, why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we doing Frumple a favour instead of just paying his price?
Yeah, you wouldn't... I said you wouldn't have said if you'd ever dealt with a DeVille before.
Aahz snorted.
Their prices are sky high, especially in a case like ours when they know the customer is desperate. Just be thankful we got such a good deal.
That's what I mean, Aahz. Are we sure we've gotten a good deal?
What do you mean?
Well, from what I've been told, if you think you've gotten a good deal from a DeVille, it usually means you've overlooked something.
Of course, you speak from a wide range of experience.
Aahz sneered sarcastically.
Who told you so much about dealing with DeVilles?
You did, I said pointedly.
You're right, kid. Maybe I have been a little hasty.
Normally I would have been ecstatic over having Aahz admit I was right. Somehow, however, in the current situation, it only made me feel that much more uncomfortable. So, what are we going to do? I asked.
Well, normally I deal honestly unless I think I'm being double-crossed. This time, however, you've raised sufficient doubt in my mind that I think we should bend the rules a little.
Situational ethics again?
Right.
So, what do we do?
Start looking for a relatively private place where we can dump these disguises without being noticed.
I began scanning the streets and alleys ahead of us. My uneasiness was growing into panic, and it lent intensity to my search. Wish we had our weapons along, I muttered.
Listen to him,
Aahz jeered.
It wasn't that long ago you were telling me all about how magicians don't need weapons. Come on, kid. What would you do with a weapon if you had one?
If you want to get specific, I said dryly, I was wishing you had a weapon.
Oh, good point. Kid, are you still looking for a private place?
Yeah, I've got a couple possibilities spotted.
Well, forget it. Start looking for something wide open with a lot of exits.
Why the change in strategy? I asked.
Take a look over your shoulder. Casual-like.
I did as I was bid, though it was not as casual as it might have been. It turned out my acting ability was the least of our worries. There was a crowd of people following us. They glared at us darkly and muttered to themselves. I wanted very badly to believe we were not the focus of their attention, but it was obvious that was not the case. They were clearly following us and gathering members as they went. We're being followed, Aahz, I whispered.
Hey, kid, I pointed them out to you, remember?
But were they following us? What did they want?
Well, I don't know for sure, kid. Of course. But I'd guess it was something to do with our disguises.
I struck another glance at the crowd. The interest in us did not seem to be lessening at all. If anything, the crowd was even bigger and looked even angrier. Terrific. Say us, I whispered.
Yeah, kid.
If they're after us because of our disguises, why don't we just change back?
Bad plan, kid. I'd rather run the risk of them having some kind of grudge against the people we're impersonating than facing up to the consequences if they found out we were magicians.
So what do we do?
We keep walking and hope we run into a patrol of soldiers that can offer us some protection.
A fist-sized rock thudded into the street ahead of us, presumably thrown by one of the people following us.
Or,
Aahz revised hastily,
we can stop right now and find out what this is all about.
We could run, I suggested, hopefully, but Aahz was already acting on his earlier suggestion. He stopped abruptly and spun on his heel to face the crowd.
What is the meaning of this?
He roared at the advancing multitude. The crowd lurched to a halt before the direct address, those in the rear colliding with those in front who had already stopped. They seemed a bit taken aback by Aahz's reaction and milled about without direction. I was pleasantly surprised at the success of my companion's manoeuvre, but Aahz was never one to leave well enough alone.
Well,
he demanded, advancing on them.
I'm waiting for an explanation.
For a moment the crowd gave ground before his approach. Then an angry voice rang out from somewhere in the back.
We want to know about our money.
That opened the door.
Yeah, about our money.
The cry was taken up by several other voices, and the crowd began to growl and move forward again. Aahz stood his ground and held up a hand commanding silence.
What about your money?
He demanded haughtily.
Oh, no, you don't,
came a particularly menacing voice.
You aren't going to talk your way out of it this time.
A massive, bald man brandishing a butcher's cleaver shouldered his way through the crowd to confront Aahz.
My good man, I said my good man.
Aahz sniffed.
If you're implying... I'm implying nothing,
the man growled.
I'm saying it flat out. You and that trollop of yours are crooks. Now you just been a bit hasty and... Hasty?
The man bellowed.
Hasty? Mister, we've already been too patient with you. We should have run you out of town when you first showed up with your phony anti-demon charms. That's right, I said phony. Some of us knew it from the start. Anyone with a little education knows there's no such things as demons.
For a moment I was tempted to let Aahz's disguise drop. Then I looked at the crowd again and decided against it. It wasn't a group to joke with.
Now, some folks brought the charms because they was gullible. Some as a gag. Some of us because everyone else was buying them. But we all bought them. Just like we bought your story that they had to be individually made and you needed the money in advance. That was all explained at the time,
Aahz protested.
Sure it was. You're great at explanations. You explained it just like you explained away those 2 times we caught you trying to leave town. Well,
Aahz began. Actually, I interrupted, we were only...
Well, I've had enough of your explanations. That's what we told you 3 days ago when we gave you 2 days to either come up with the charms or give us our money back. But these things take time. You've used up that excuse. Your time was up yesterday. Now do we get our money or... Certainly.
Aahz raised his hand soothingly.
Just give me a moment to speak with my colleague.
He smiled at the crowd as he took me by the arm and drew me away. What are we going to do, Aahz?
Now we run,
he said calmly.
Huh?
I asked intelligently. I was talking to thin air. Aahz was already legging it speedily down the street. I may be slow at times, but I'm not that slow. In a flash I was hot on his heels. Unfortunately, the crowd figured out what Aahz was up to and about the same time I did. With a howl, they were after us. Surprisingly, I overtook Aahz. Either he was holding back so I could catch up, or I was more scared than I thought, which is impossible. No, what? I panted.
Shut up and keep running, kid,
Aahz barked, ducking around a knot of people. They're gaining on us, I pointed out. Actually, the group we had just passed had joined the pursuit, but it had the same effect as if the crowd was gaining.
Will you knock it off and help me look?
Aahz growled.
Sure. What are we looking for? A couple dressed roughly like us,
he replied.
What do we do if we see them? Simple, Aahz replied. We plough into them full tilt, you swap our features for theirs, and we let the mob tear them apart.
That doesn't sound right somehow, I said doubtfully.
Kid, remember what I told you about situational ethics?
Yeah.
Well, this is one of those situations.
I was convinced, though not so much by Aahz's logic as by the rock that narrowly missed my head. I don't know how the crowd managed to keep its speed up and still pick things up to throw, but it did. I began watching for a couple dressed like us. It's harder than it sounds when you're at a dead run with a mob at your heels. Unfortunately, there was no one in sight who came close to fitting the bill. Whomever it was who were impersonating seemed to be fairly unique in their dress.
I wish I had a weapon with me,
Aahz complained. We've already gone through that, I called back. And besides, what would you do if you had one? The only thing we've got that might stop them is the fire ring.
Hey, I've forgotten about that,
Aahz gasped.
I've still got it on.
So what? I asked. We can't use it.
Oh yeah? Why not?
Because then they'd know we're magicians.
That won't make any difference if they're dead.
Situational ethics or not, my stomach turned at the thought of killing that many people. Wait! Aahz! I shouted.
Watch this, kid.
He grinned and pointed his hand at them. Nothing happened. So that's got to be the worst time to find out that something's a bit faulty is when you're up against a crowd of being locals. Not that I've been up against a crowd of being locals, but you know how it goes sometimes. You know how it goes. Oh my goodness gracious, that's awful. But it's like kind of funny how you've got like your spare tyres punctured when you're at the side of the road and your car's already up on the jack and you wanted to change the tyre and then you realise that the other one's punctured and it came like that with the car and that didn't happen to me at all, honest. Lesson learned. Come on, I was only young and it was your first car. It was a Volvo 340. Hey, back in the day. Jeepers creepers, yeah. Enough said about that, the better. I don't even know why I mentioned it. Now I'm embarrassed. So that'd be another question. Not only sort of like, what is your favourite weather and season, and what is your favourite thing to do in that weather and season? Keep it PG. But also, what was your lesson learned at an inopportune time? If you want to share it. But as ever, if you want to drop me a line and say hello, I always appreciate it. It's always very, very nice. And, you know, I do get back as soon as I can, which is lovely. I'm saying this like I get lots of messages. I don't. My circle is very small and that is how I like it. That's just a group of lovely people. And I enjoy talking with you and it's all wonderful. So, yes. Okay, my beans. Whatever your weather is, if it's too hot, stay hydrated, stay cool, stay shaded. If it's too cold, wrap it warm, human burrito. Everybody's weather's changing now, I would say, like north and south of the equator. So if we're coming into autumn, south of the equator is going into spring, I think, yes. So either way, no matter what, I love the weather. It's kind of, I don't know if you've seen Mateo Blue. This is I don't do any sponsorships or advertising or anything like that. I'm just saying about things that I enjoy. And as you know, I love cloud watching and weather watching. It's just, I'm just fascinated by it, not just by the actual natural experience of it, but by the scientific experience of it. And Mateo Blue is really good because you can actually see all of the weather systems from satellite imagery. And some of them are the mock-ups and everything. One of my favourite things, believe it or not, is actually hurricane watching and all of the different temperatures to the airflow. And it kind of like, it's like a lava lamp. I'm not, taking away the importance and the severity of hurricanes and tornadoes and that sort of thing when they're out at sea and that sort of stuff. But it is like a lava lamp. Mateo Blue, Meteo, blue is in the colour. It's a good website to follow. But seriously, the satellite imagery, give it a try. Give it a look. Have a little look, see. I know I'm a nerd for weather. I'm a nerd for a lot of things, but I just like it. And it's that time of the year when it's all rainy and cloudy and big thunderstorms like. And that shall be my artist's rendering of thunder, which sounds more like lightning. But am I the only person? And this is probably more for Gen X people or any people who enjoy music of an alternative nature. But anytime anybody mentions thunder, do you think of AC/DC and the song by said band of the same name? Every time, I can't help it. Whenever there's like anybody mentions thunder, I hear thunder. That song always comes to mind because it's my favorite band of all time. To be perfectly fair, well, one of my favorite bands of all time in that genre. Hey, I'm a muso. I've got lots of different favorite bands of lots of different genres, but yeah, that's yeah, and it has to be the AC/DC version. There is another like very, very good song which is also of the same name by a different band, but no, the AC/DC version is the original and the classic, and to be honest, it's more fun to like. It's more like befitting for the weather described. But yeah, if you haven't heard it before, Thunder by AC/DC, it's freaking brilliant. Right, my lovely beans, I'm going to stop waffling and big love, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being so awesome, and I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I hopefully will record some more, and this is a really long sign off, and I'm really sorry. Take it easy, Pedal. Stay safe.